Single loop with picot. This is a single loop with picot edging. Attach the thread to the outer edge of the tape with a buttonhole stitch, leaving a tail thread. For the first loop, I'm going to work over the tail thread also. So I bring this to the right and hold it in place with a small piece of tape. Decide on the length of the loop you want to make. In this case, I'm going to skip 3 holes from my starting point and work into the 4th hole. Lay 2 foundation threads working from left to right and then right to left. Working from left to right, cover the loop with buttonhole stitches until you reach the center of the loop. Just remembering that for the first loop, you're incorporating the tail thread. This can be snipped off when you reach the center of the loop. Now I've reached the center, so I'm going to snip off the tail thread. And I'm now ready to do my picot. So again, I make a loose buttonhole stitch. And I work 4 buttonhole stitches into the forward loop of this loose buttonhole stitch. The first stitch after the picot is pulled up firmly against the picot, and complete the loop with the same number of stitches as on the left of the picot. At the end of the loop, bring the needle up from underneath the tape. This holds the loop in position. Starting the second loop, make 1 loop from left to right, and then make another loop from right to left, inserting the needle into the hole just before the end of the last loop. This means that the loops will overlap slightly for a neater and more regular appearance. So cover these 2 threads with buttonhole stitches, placing a picot in the centre. Now I'm going to do my picot, so I make my loose buttonhole stitch and I work 4 buttonhole stitches into the forward loop of this loose buttonhole stitch. And continue on to the end. Remembering to, at the end, to bring the needle up from underneath the tape to hold the loop in position. I will now demonstrate how to start a new thread in the middle of a looped edging. Leave a long tail on the right hand side of the next loop placement and hold in place to the right with a piece of tape. Start a new thread in the same hole as the tail thread and secure with a buttonhole stitch. Bring the tail of the new thread to the start of the loop and secure with a piece of tape. Now, as before, bring the needle into the previous hole just to the left of the last loop. This means the loops overlap slightly. I now work buttonhole stitches over these 3 foundation threads, working my picot in the center. So I'm working my picot now. The picot and the looped edging has 4 buttonhole stitches. First stitch after the picot is pulled up firmly against the picot. That secures it. And work on to the end. And at the end, bring the needle up from underneath the tape to finish the loop, and then snip off the 2 tail threads. And continue on.